There's a couple of storylines to that one, Matthew, whereby you're so good at holding one of the AFL's most offensive teams, but then not good enough to score yourself.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of stories in the game, but we give 3 really positive quarters of effort and intensity and what's needed to compete with one of the best sides in the comp, and not quite able to finish it off in the end. But there's no doubt you've got to score. We've got to put more scoreboard pressure on to win games of footy. I think in the end we were halfway through the last and we had 36 odd points on the board. It's going to be tough to beat Geelong, especially with that score.
Encouraging that you could get them to buy into a game plan about locking down Geelong.
Did you see it? Yeah, I was really proud of what it looked like. It was a game plan that we're working on. We're learning as we go, and it's taking longer than we'd like because of some restrictions around training and the way we can train it. But I was really pleased to see, as we all were, as a club, we saw what we want to look like today. We saw, ferocious, competitive battle inside. We saw a really structured defence that we were able to limit their score, as you said, limit what is probably one of the biggest weapons in the game at the moment in Hawkins ahead of the ball. So that was really pleasing for our young guys to nail that. In the end, we were 800 plus less games than our opposition, and we were able to, at times, look like we owned the game. But again, not quite in the end, and the better side took over in that last quarter.
So what's missing between being able to really hold a side and then take the risk, gamble to create something in your own forward half? Maybe just the experiences of learning from mistakes and knowing when to attack the game. That balance between offence and defence and the transition part of the game. And that'll come, and we're improving that. Weekly. We have our odd moment where we drop away, and we've seen that with a couple of our away trips, v North and then the Bulldogs, where we drop right off. But on the whole, the positive part of it is we're learning from these moments in games where maybe we're not attacking the game at a moment we should, and we should be powering out of that and scoring and punishing the opposition. That's something that'll come with our younger guys. It'll connect. We'll be able to connect that up as a group, and you'll see score begin to get to a level where we're going to start to win some games.
So I was going to say Tom Hawkins kicked 3 goals 3 today, but would you say it was fair to say it didn't truly reflect Kyle Hartigan's game today?
Depends on how you look at it, because Hawkins, he's been so good this year, and we had huge respect coming in for what he can do as an individual, but he requires his team for him to kick goals, and I thought our entire group defended really well and restricted the amount of times he got, I wouldn't say easy looks, but a lead up on the chest. But Kyle definitely played an outstanding game for us. Everything we asked him to come in with, using his teammates, his positioning, it was a fantastic game by him. Even with his opponent kicking 3-3, so it shows how good Hawkins is.
Was he hard done by? At least once, maybe twice?
From
umpiring calls on him?
Oh, I'm not sure. I may have missed that one.
What about Lockie Murphy's game? He played down back. Can you talk us through the role that he was playing today?
I've got to be careful what I say. I don't want to give away too much. He didn't play down back. He spent a little bit of time back there though. That's work rate for Murph. That's working for the team. And coming back to the point around offence and defence and the transition part of the game. The challenge now for Murph is we love the way he plays. It's then balancing that up with the ability to then get back and give us something forward to the ball. But no, he was. I'm glad you brought that up actually, because he works really hard off the ball and gives us a lot of support in defence. So he's performing well without necessarily getting on the scoreboard for us as a forward.
What about the work of O'Brien to give you first look?
Yeah, and a lot of work went into that this week after what was a disappointing game last week. For Rob, last week he won hit-outs convincingly. Now, he went against a midfielder and they brought in a particular tactic, the Bulldogs, but today he really connected that with his on-ballers. We did a fair bit of work around that, simplifying but connecting really. A lot of work as a midfield group. Mickey Godden worked with the guys, and it showed today. I thought he was really strong for us, especially early in the game. Late, they seemed to get a little bit on top in the centre bounce and first use, and Danger's pretty hard to stop when he gets first use. But I thought for the majority of the game, our midfield as well as Rob played really strongly.
Do you expect to get Lynch and Brad Crouch back after the bye?
Yeah, we'd hope to. We've probably got 3 or 4 that we're hoping to be available for the next game. Now with it being a bye, we'll have a look at how we structure that. It might be an opportunity for us to train some full ground, full contact. We'll substitute one of those sessions for what would have been a game. We're looking into that, but we'd expect both of those guys to be pushing for selection. Yeah.
But's first game, did you like what he was able to bring?
Yeah, I thought Jordan looked really composed. I thought he looked at home. Again, with that, for a first-year player to come in, he, especially playing a key position down back, now he was playing on their second or third tall, but for him to look composed, it takes the team, in front of him to get the job done for him. But he, at times came off with the ball in hand. I thought he looked really balanced. He's shown that he's definitely got the physique and the physical side of the game right there. It'll just be now hopefully getting some more footy into him at this level. But talking to him post game, his teammates were really pleased with the way he went, and he felt comfortable is not the word, but he felt like be it it's a fast game, he felt like he belonged, which is a really good sign.
How many have you used now this year?
Sorry.
How many players have you used now?
So that was our ninth debutant. Total we've used, to be coming up closer to 40. 38. So 9 debutants as well as 3 from other clubs which had played elsewhere. So we've. There's been a fair bit of rotation across the league from a lot of clubs due to the shortened schedule or playing more games more regularly. But we have had a focus to get these guys out there and expose them to football at the highest level, and that's where we're going to improve. I hope our members and supporters saw, today a glimpse of where we're heading, because that's what we're about as a group, is coming off after a quarter and feeling like that was our quarter. We had moments in that where we owned that game, and today that's why we were pleased with the performance for 3 quarters. With such a young group at the moment, from an experience point of view, we're going to make mistakes here and there that are going to cost us some games, and we did that today. We made a number of big mistakes that was 12-point turnaround. We'll learn from those, and slowly over time we won't make those mistakes again. In fact, it turns really quickly. So it's a real positive for us. We've now got to come up again in 9 days and put on another performance against another good side.
What were you thinking through the third term when you could continue to just hold it, but you wouldn't win? So what were you thinking about where you could find some sort of advantage to open up a break, just to change up? Could you see anything you could do from the box?
Yeah, we tried a few things actually, but more in the fourth. We made a bit of a structural change. We felt like through the third we had our opportunity still, even though it wasn't our best quarter. They made a few changes and brought a little bit more traffic up around stoppage, forced a little bit of... We went away from what we were doing in there, and again, that's some experience of... We got some players in there that have played 3 and 4 games. And Schoenberg, probably he's the one that comes to mind. His first half, what a glimpse, talk about a glimpse of where we're going. They changed it up, which good sides do. We then went and moved on that early in the last. We made a few structural changes, which in the end, you look at, we're going to score 3 goals in 6 minutes. you make some moves that they get a couple more goals in the end. But what we do know is we competed really well for majority of the game. We'd love to keep the game on our terms, but at a point when you hurt yourself on the scoreboard, you've got to change something, and we did that.
Did McAdam hurt his hamstring?
We were concerned he had, and we don't know yet for sure, but he came off. He felt he couldn't feel it after getting up and down the boundary line, but it was a hamstring. He felt whether it's a knock as he kicked the ball. He had no pain going up and down the boundary line, but at that point there was I think it was around that 6 or 7 minutes to go in the last. We didn't take any risk with Shane. We put him on ice and said, okay, let's just see, because we weren't sure. So he'll still have to go and, I'd say, probably scan, but our doctors and high performance guys will look at that, and we'll do our best to get him right, hopefully for 9 days' time.
That was a good goal he kicked, wasn't it? That's the sort of spark you might be looking for in the forward line. That's
the one again, glimpses. We're seeing glimpses, and that's second week in a row for Shane that he's, last week he came off illness during the week and put a performance out from an effort point of view. We were way off as a team, but today he backed it up again. He's going to be quite a player as he gets more and more experience.